What is up, you guys? It's me, Vic. Welcome back to another C'est La Vic YouTube video. In today's video, we are only working with 3 colors. So if you're a beginner or you don't want to pick up all of the colors that Angelus, for example, has to offer, then it's easy for you to just pick up the white, a blue, this one's blue, and a black color and get a design that looks like this. I call these my Porcelain Air Force 1 V2s. I actually created a porcelain design using just Sharpies. Funnily enough, they lasted about a year or so. If you keep it away from the sun, the Sharpie doesn't really fade. It kind of just seeps into the leather and kind of spreads out a tiny bit like a tattoo would. If you let any kind of like Sharpie thing sit out in the sun for 2 weeks, it gets sun bleached and it turns yellow. So if you wanted to customize your shoes such that the paint job lasts just as long as the shoes would, then I would highly recommend you going towards the paint option. These ones last a really long time. And then of course using a really good top coat like Liquid Kicks. That's basically my spiel. Let's get into it and I'll show you guys how I made these. I love planning out my projects in a sketchbook. I start out with the outline of the sneakers I'm working on. In this case, the Air Force 1 Sage Lows. The porcelain theme lives rent-free in my head because I love how simple the color palette is. You can adapt this design to whatever theme you want, change up the flowers, add animals, even make it completely abstract. Once you know which direction you're taking your design, let's get prepping. Shoelaces off and grab your 100% acetone and cotton pads. And for this step, I will always wear gloves to protect my hands. And that is why I always work with a mat underneath. I can't even tell you how many expensive tabletops I've ruined with acetone. To do the most thorough job of removing the factory finish, you can dip Q-tips into acetone and go into the creases and the corners that cotton pads can't reach. This will help to ensure that your paint doesn't start to peel from the corners. Honey, we're due for a snack break. If you think that's lame, leave me a better one in the comments. Now for colors. Within the Angelus range, there's so many different shades of blue. I don't even have them all here. Some of them are named differently, but look exactly the same, like this sapphire and regular blue. For this project, we're going to be using dark blue, black, and white. Quick tip for you, if you can't get the cap off, blast it for 15 seconds with a heat gun, and the lid should come right off. We're starting with dark blue and mixing it into a bit of white. Immediately you should see this pretty medium blue color. It's so easy. This is the color we're going to use to shade in the flowers. If we add in a bit of black, the dark blue becomes a navy. And I'm just going to add in a little bit of white to lighten that up. And that's the color we're going to use to create the outlines. Here, I'll show you me mixing a slightly larger amount before we start painting. The first few strokes always take the longest. This is me painting in real time. It's like I'm not even moving. This is me at 200%. This is 800%. Ain't nobody got time for this, so from here on out, we're going 3000% with this time lapse so that you can really see the flowers come to life. For this project, I really wanted to embrace that hand-painted aspect of porcelain, so I didn't do a pre-sketch, but if you're afraid of making mistakes or going straight in with paint, feel free to sketch out your design with pencil or pen on the shoes before you start painting. If you're a beginner with customs or you're practicing your line work, florals are such a great place to start. The organic lines of a flower are so forgiving, and as long as you have some petals, a pistil, which is the center of the flower, and some leaves, the brain will automatically perceive it as a flower. It seems like I have lost all the footage of me shading in the flowers. But basically, using a mixture of blue and white, which I showed you at the beginning of the color mixing, I created a light blue color that I used to fill in the petals and the leaves. Just like hand-painted porcelain, I wanted to keep this shading very imperfect, as you can see here. And then I went over the outlines once more with the dark navy blue to make sure the artwork really popped. Then I'm using the dark blue color to outline some different parts of the shoes, for example the swoosh, the back tab, and anywhere where you think an outline would look good. Lastly, let's tackle the Nike logos. Since the logos on this particular shoe are embossed into the tags, it's important to use a very fine and very pointy paintbrush. I always try to use a brand new one for this step. For the final touch, I'm using a half and half mixture of Angelus Navy leather stain and navy acrylic paint to color in the air that's on the midsoles. I try to keep the designs on the midsoles or the outsoles relatively simple because any paint that you put on it has a risk of peeling off. I'm going to speed up the drying process with a heat gun on the lowest setting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how they were transformed from being white to this and how easy it is to just use 3 colors to create your own unique customs. If you have any ideas for designs, make sure to leave it in the comment section for me. And if you like this video, make sure to click subscribe, make sure to turn on your notification bell. And if you haven't seen all the crazy stuff that I do on Instagram, make sure to go and check me out on there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.